Hey guys, so it has been a little while. It's been just over a week, I think, since I last updated you guys on what's going on here in the greenhouse with the animals and everything. So this is just going to be like a basic update video on everything going on the property. I'm out front right now with the goats, so I figured that's where we'll start. So Cupid, Valentine's baby boy who was born in February on Valentine's Day, is getting so big. He's almost the size of Fred. And the two new babies are just over a week old and they are out in the pasture with everybody else. Because they're a week old, this is when we start separating the babies at night and start milking mom in the morning. And Mary Jane is already a great producer. However, like I've mentioned previously, their milk production is peak usually around month 2 or 3. Cupid is such a sweet boy. So this is our gander, and our female goose is currently in the house over there sitting on a few goose eggs. So even though we have some in the incubator, and I will share a video with you guys as soon as they hatch, she decided she wants to hatch out her own. So the next thing I'm going to show you guys, I'm so excited about. I actually have a little bit of a sunburn. I was out here all day the other day from 10 a.m. until 6:20 p.m. cleaning up the Bradford pear that we cut down November, I think. And as you can see, I've got a bunch of just smaller sticks. Those were kind of the top of the trees, the thin, straggly pieces. And we are going to hopefully wood chip those and add them to our chip drop pile. So that way next year we can use them in that garden bed after we kind of burn it. We've got a whole plan for that, and I'll share that when we do that. Let me turn the camera around and show you what we got done. So if you did not see the video of what the garden looked like before we started our 2025 growing season, you don't know, but this whole area was covered in a Bradford pear. And we cut it down because they're invasive, they grow super fast, and arborists are kind of expensive to hire to clean up trees. We did cut it up into firewood. A lot of the firewood is stacked on our back deck. The rest of it's stacked here, but we have enough for all of next year's winter, which is amazing. So we got it all cleaned up except for this big piece, and I would share how big it really is. However, it has our address number on it, so I'm not going to do that. But we saved it because I think we're going to turn it into a bench for the garden. So I'm super excited about that. Over here, just kind of smaller pieces of firewood that we cut up. And this is the part I am super excited about. So I saved a bunch of these pieces that are about this big. I have big hands. It's kind of hard to tell. But I saved some smaller ones, some medium-sized ones, some bigger ones. And some of these are like 10 feet long. Obviously, we can cut them. But the plan is to make a couple of cool things this year. I'm hoping I will make like an entryway arbor type situation, as well as hopefully a deer fence to keep the deer out. So all that's left is kind of these piles of leaves with these smaller sticks. So I'm just going to take the wheelbarrow from over there, clean up these piles, and that will be it. And we can start mulching, cardboarding, composting this whole side of the garden. If you saw my video about what I am not planting this year, I said that I am not going to be planting potatoes. They take up a lot of room. They're fairly cheap at the grocery store. I did a whole list of it. Again, I'll link that video up in the corner. Unfortunately, it looks like I missed some potatoes last year. And not only did I miss them, but then we rototilled. And I'm pretty sure that we cut the potatoes that I missed into several different pieces, and they are all sprouting. Let me turn the camera around and show you just how many potatoes have started to pop up. Those right there are potatoes. Potato, potato. Potato. That's a potato. That's a potato. That's a potato. I got potatoes over there. I got potato right here. Potato right here. Potato. 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 More potatoes. Those are all potatoes. Again, I don't know what happened, but apparently I am growing potatoes out over here. I don't know if we will keep these because, as I keep mentioning, we are doing cardboard, mulch, and compost. And this year I'm going heavy on the cardboard, heavy on the mulch. We're trying to keep the weeds down because every year, probably right around July, when it starts getting super hot and things start kind of struggling, the weeds start thriving. So we want to keep those at bay as much as we can. So let me know down in the comments what kind of things you want me to update you on, what kind of things you want to see. Been milking every morning, planting a lot of stuff. This coming week we have a little bit of a cold spell, like 30, 32 degrees. So I'm holding off on planting anything else outside or starting anything else. My next round of starts are going to be zucchini, cucumbers, my squashes, things like that, watermelon. I know I say this every video, but the garlic looks incredible this year. I did fertilize it. However, as you can see, it's got granulated fertilizer in there. It's starting to kind of fall apart due to the rain, which is exactly what you want. It is thick and beautiful. This year's garlic is going to be amazing. I can't wait to harvest this. Probably end of July, early August, we will start harvesting these. The strawberries we planted out the other day look really great. Everything is just covered in pollen right now here in North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, this whole area. These are ones from last year coming up. Same with this one. And they've already got flowers on them. However, we do have a frost coming, and I do want them to continue to put energy into their root system. So I'm just going to snap those flowers right off. They will be fine, and we will get bigger and better flowers a little later on. The grapes over here are continuing to wake up really nicely, and I did plant peas in around the grapes, and those are doing awesome as well. These beds on the back side of the carport are slowly but surely filling up. I filled that back one with some coop shavings the other day just because I had cleaned out the coop. And then this one I was able to fill with compost that we got. We got bulk compost not too long ago and planted our greens. I will actually insert a photo or a clip just to show you guys how much compost we got. We got 2 scoops and it cost us $50. And then my nasturtiums, which are showing a little bit of shock, I think from being in the greenhouse and it getting so hot last weekend. So I did plant some of those outside. However, the other day we did have a record-breaking temps here in North Carolina. Oh gosh, don't mind the cast iron tub back there. I am hopefully going to plant raspberries in that so that way they don't spread. Wishful thinking, raspberries, blackberries, all those cane, what are they called? They're called cane berries, I think. Those all spread. So hopefully, again, wishful thinking, we will have raspberries planted in that. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to put it. I don't want it somewhere where it's going to get seen all the time just because it is just like an old bathtub, but it is cast iron. So I'm hoping that it won't spread too much. I'm going to put in the drain hole, I think I'm going to put cement. Again, cane berries will grow through cement, but again, wishful thinking. Something is getting to the bok choy. I have yet to find any poop or anything. Oh, I think we just found some today down in there. Oh well, I guess the bok choy this year will be our trap crop, and hopefully they will bother the bok choy over the cauliflower and the cabbage, which that's fine with me. This rose looks really good. Starting to fill in nicely. This is not the climbing rose. This is the bush rose. Looks very nice. Another nasturtium here, and my oregano is coming back. Looks very good. The sage has not shown any signs of life yet, so I don't know if that's going to come back. And then we did our cool weather shade flowers over here, and this is just from that shade flower mix from Botanical Interest. If I have a picture of it, I'll add it right here. The beginning of this row over here is cauliflower, so I want to say the first 4 or 6 over here are cauliflower. Oh goodness, something ran through here. Do not know what it was, but it looks like it killed an onion. Probably stray cats. We have a terrible stray cat problem. They live in that lean-to over there. There's a woman that lives down on the bottom of the hill over there, and she rescues. My version of rescue and her version of rescue are very different. If you rescue an animal, you should get it spayed and neutered. She does not, and then she lets them outside, and they live in that lean-to and reproduce like wild. But these are my first round onions and cauliflower, and then at the end there I do have a couple of cabbages, but all the onions that you see here are from the first round cauliflower that we thought had died. This one looks like it might come back. We did lose that one. Those two are actually ones that I separated that were in the same cell from the greenhouse that I purchased up the road. So I'm not too worried about it, but the rest look great. These onions are bouncing back wonderfully. Over here we have the red burgundy onions. I planted those out the other day. There's a bunch of them. I actually got all of them out. Oh no, our first weed in the garden. It's a dandelion. The last one of the season. Okay, I'm not going to eat it, but if you get the reference, you get the reference. Over here, I've got our red cabbage. Again, everything looks a little wilty and sad just because I haven't been able to mulch this yet. I am going to mulch it just like everything else in the garden. I've got a marigold there. The only reason I haven't mulched yet is because I'm nervous that we're going to run out before we get our pathways covered. And the goal is to have the pathways covered to keep the crabgrass at bay this year. I had the last of my peas planted in and around this old tomato cage just because I did the inside row there, the inside row over there, and then the inside row of that one over there. I left the inside row of that one empty because that's where I'm going to plant my pole beans. And if I didn't plant these peas over here, I was nervous all my peas were going to take up the inside rows of my cattle panel arches. I've got them lightly covered with this mesh just to keep the deer and the birds from eating them. The deer really love them. I planted some snapdragons on the outside edge of the inside where I planted the peas. The peas are doing really great. I also did a nasturtium at the end of each of these posts. Some more snapdragons. These are all snapdragons and alyssum. And then another nasturtium there. Over where this patio area is, where I want to put my bistro set, I'd like to have a lot of flowers just for kind of Instagram purposes. Another nasturtium. Like I said, they were starting to show signs of stress. I think just from being in those 4-packs, they have really big roots and it was getting super hot in there. Over here, I've planted out my poppies and my calendula. So those look really good. This lemon tree is showing so much growth. It looks incredible. Again, I'm hoping I see my first flower from this tree this year. Even if I get flowers, that just shows me that yes, it will produce fruit. Maybe sometime in my lifetime. This tree is 4 years old this year. And then over here, I have a random squash that I planted last year in one of these popping up, but I don't think it's going to survive. We got a couple 32-degree nights coming. Those are weeds. Don't think I have a ton of stuff planted out. I already have weeds. I used some really crappy dirt in this. I'm not even going to call it soil because I should not have grown in it, but I've got to weed all this and put some nice compost in here. But my asparagus looks incredible. I've got shoots coming up everywhere. We've already harvested some of it. You do want to leave some of your asparagus to flower. So I've left some of it, but again, I've also harvested some of it and it looks really good. We've got another one coming up there. This one I'm probably going to harvest today. I've honestly just been harvesting them and eating them straight out of the garden. I did harvest a couple and cook them in some fried rice the other day, and they were amazing. The kids loved it. But they do not like weeds, and there's so many weeds. So I got to get in here and get all these weeds out. Harvested that one the other day. See, there's one coming up here, but it's getting all messed up, and I think it's just from the weeds. And these are the second year asparagus popping up. Again, I'm letting this flower. Hopefully I'll get a couple seed pods from these, and then I will just sprinkle them and cover them when I compost down in here. This bok choy over here. Again, I think the bok choy this year is just a trap crop, unfortunately, because I do love bok choy. I do have this one over here that looks pretty good. I might be able to harvest some of that. There's a little one there that got stunted because most of it got eaten. Got some beets in here. Also got some weeds in here because I filled the bottom of this bed with the same dirt that I put in there. Huge mistake. Dwarf kale, cabbages. These are all starting to grow really nicely again, and it's been so hot, and these are all cool weather crops. So hopefully next week they will take off when it does cool down. I think what I'm going to do is weed whack in here, or maybe even bring the push mower in before I lay down my cardboard and start mulching and putting compost in. Again, we did get bulk compost the other day, two tractor scoops full, and it was $20 a piece or $25 a piece per scoop. And then over here, the inside edge, again, is all peas. They look great. I only did the inside edge because I'm going to need the outside edge for my warmer weather crops. So the peas will probably get up here. And then on the outside edge, I will plant my tomatoes, my peppers, things like that. Probably mostly tomatoes. The peppers usually stand up pretty good on their own. But the tomatoes definitely need a trellis. I don't like using tomato cages. I really love the cattle panels. It holds them up really well. So I'll plant the tomatoes on the outside edge, which will then shade my cool weather peas, and hopefully they will continue to produce. Again, over here on the inside edge, I'm going to do my pole beans. I did post a short when I planted my onions and my red cabbage, so I will link that for you guys as well. And we are going to head over to the greenhouse. So this is the climbing rose, and it's really starting to struggle, so I've got to get it planted soon. I think I'm going to plant it on the arbor that I was talking about making with those sticks. And then we have the rest of our lettuce that couldn't fit in the previous bed over here, where a lot of our kale and Swiss chard got eaten by the birds. The lettuce is a lot larger. For some reason, they don't seem to like the more lighter, leafier greens. They like the darker cabbage, kale, Swiss chard type stuff. So these are thriving over here and look great. The peppers are amazing. They look so good. They're thriving in the heat. Except for this one. I think that one's just not having it. I transplanted it into a pot hoping that it would kind of help it out a little. I do have to fertilize these, but I mean, some of them just look incredible. And then I have more peppers down here in this corner. And again, they look amazing. I'm pretty sure this is a pest. We don't want you. Ugh. I have another rose. I actually have a rose problem because I have so many roses and I have nowhere to plant them. I'm going to plant this one over by the fence I was talking about. These are from Aldi. If you guys don't shop at Aldi, we love Aldi around here. They have roses for $1 cheaper than Lowe's cheapest roses. I want to say it was like $8. So I picked that one up. I also picked up one for a friend for her birthday, but she doesn't watch my YouTube channel. She shows her kids the goat birth videos and things like that, but she doesn't usually watch my garden stuff, so she'll never know. Tomatoes over here. A lot of our snapdragons have died. It's just gotten so hot and mucky. Some of them are doing fine, but others are just struggling between the moisture and it being sporadic with moisture and stuff. I've got marigolds over here thriving. Those can probably go out. Tomatoes, again, these look incredible. These are the Aroma Supremos in these two rows. Over here, regular aromas. I've got Jersey Devil over here, nasturtiums, purple basil. Again, this was the only herb that germinated from my herbs from Organo Republic. So these petunias, like I said, they are going to grow like crazy as soon as they get potted up, and they absolutely are. I'm excited to get these planted in my hanging baskets shortly. And then the tomatoes down here, this orange accordion, I can tell this is going to be my favorite tomato this year. Not the tomato specifically, but this plant specifically, and not the smaller one, but this bigger one is, I mean, it just looks incredible. And it's been growing like a trooper this whole time. And then I've got my Sartre Lois, my spear green, and then my red beef steak. So I'm glad that I potted these or started the seeds of these in these bigger pots because they are growing like crazy. Over here, I have my figs that I propagated that are alive. Over here, I have the ones that have died because they were not taken care of. They were inside. Things don't look so great. I have been watering them, hoping that they will kind of start back up again, but I haven't seen it, so we'll see what happens. These ones, again, are going to get planted out with the rose and the fruit trees that I have coming. I have my seed started dahlias down here, and these look incredible. I am so excited about these. A lot of these are probably going to get planted around the Brick Bistro area, again, for Instagram purposes. Flowers, obviously they bring in pollinators, but they're great for the social media content, guys. I've got two of them right here as well. Then I've got some second round tomatoes. A lot of these have got to get potted up. The yellow patio choice. I've got two of those over here. Some more orange accordion. Sartre spear green. This is my catnip, and then my Thai basil. These are my Scotch bonnets. Again, got to get potted up. I've got 2 trays of beets over here, and these have just started to come up nicely, so those look good. Over here, marigolds. My one celery that germinated. Bachelor buttons, Roma, red beef steak, Jersey Devil, forget-me-nots, bachelor buttons. Oh, these tomatoes. These are the ones that I won in the giveaway. That one, the seed is stuck. Oh no. I'll give it a little bit more time. Anyway, these are the Black Beauty tomatoes. I'm excited about those. Some more petunias that I haven't potted up. The first round onions. Everything does look dry. Again, it's been hot and crazy in here. Just random weeds growing in my alyssum. And these are my second round onions, which I've got to get these planted out or they are just going to die in here in this heat because these are a cool weather crop. They need that cool weather. They do good out in the heat in the summer, but they've got to get out there in time. I've still got my hydrangea in the pot that I had already planted out, but had to bring back inside because I was nervous about it. Again, it got a little sunburnt at first, but now it's got new growth that looks really well. Why is it not focusing? There we go. So I think that's it for the update. Again, it's just been super busy. I spent all day the other day working on that tree so we can start on the garden. Our lawnmower's broken, so we got to get that fixed because it's like we have to mow our grass like yesterday. I've got fruit trees coming. I've got blueberries coming, which I'm going to do a whole video about that. I'm super excited. There's a company that I'm working with, an amazing nursery. They have incredible fruits. I can't wait to share that with you guys. What else? My chickens have started picking up laying eggs. Again, just spring things. Baby goats. gardening, all kinds of stuff. All right, guys, so that is about it. I am going to get to watering the stuff in the greenhouse before temps rise again today. Hopefully we get some rain because our rain barrel outside is starting to dry out. We do have our second one that we are cleaning out and hooking up here shortly. And as always, I will take you guys along as things continue to grow, how I care for them, when I plant them out, keep you guys updated. And thank you so much. Again, don't forget to leave in the comments what you guys want to see. That way I can make better content and help you guys either in your garden, in your animal husbandry. I don't share enough inside stuff just because I kind of hate sharing inside my house. We're always renovating and things like that. So I will share more sourdough, more baking, things like that if that's what you want to see. But let me know down below. And thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful spring.